I was right 70% of the time, but I was wrong 30% of the time, and there are an awful lot of mistakes in 21 years.
Don't ever think for a minute that the central bankers know what they're doing. They don't. And that's my own view, but I've heard that recently from a couple central bankers. I recently had spent some time with one member of the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, and another member of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of England, which is the equivalent of their FOMC, both policymakers, both central bankers. And they said the same thing. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing.
I was right 70% of the time, but I was wrong 30% of the time, and there are an awful lot of mistakes.
This is a massive experiment. We've never done this before. We try something. If it works, maybe we do a little more. If it doesn't work, we pull it away and we'll try something else.
But I was wrong 30% of the time.
The evidence of this, again, I've heard this firsthand, that's my view, but the evidence for this is the Fed has had 15 separate policies in the last 5 years. 15 separate policies in the last 5 years. 15 separate policies in the last 5 years. If you think about it, they started with forward guidance, which was, we will keep rates low for an extended period of time. And then they said, oh, extended means all the way to 2013. And then they said all the way to 2014. And they were kind of getting around all the way to 2015. They said, wait a second, the dates don't work. Let's use some numeric concepts. So they started nominal GDP targeting, where they said we have this threshold of, 2.5% inflation, but not based on actual inflation, but based on projected inflation as projected by the Fed, which means it could be whatever they wanted. And then 6.5% unemployment, but when we got down to 6.5%, they said, oh, just kidding. We're not going to apply that. They had currency wars. They had Operation Twist, QE1, QE2, QE3, except QE3 came in two flavors, $45 billion a month and $85 billion a month, except now they're tapering. But the taper isn't even the first taper, because at the end of QE1, that was 100% taper. And the end of QE2, that was 100% taper. So we have two data points that say tapering doesn't work. It fails, and I expect this will fail as well. But my point is, if you add all this up, all the forward guidance, all the dates, all the targets, the currency wars, Operation Twist, all the flavors of QE, 15 separate policies in 5 years. That tells you don't know what you're doing. You're making it up as you go along.
But I was wrong 30% of the time.
So people should have no confidence in the Fed. So people should have no confidence in the Fed.
You have what degree of confidence in your ability to control this?
100%.
That's for starters. Now, beyond that, if you look at Fed models and look at what Fed monetary economists actually do, they use equilibrium models, what are called dynamic stochastic equilibrium models. There's only one problem with equilibrium models. They bear no relationship to reality. The world is not an equilibrium system. The world is a complex system, or at least the capital markets are complex systems. So you can't apply an equilibrium model to a complex system. They behave completely differently. So, it's as if I said, I'm holding a pen in my hand. I'm going to release it, and I want you to give me a forecast as to what's going to happen to the pen. You'll think about it and say, well, that pen's going to hit the floor. And I let go, and sure enough, it hits the floor. Well, how do you know that? Well, you have a model. The pen has weight. You understand gravity. We're on the planet Earth, etc. Everything about your model, which is the correct one, says the pen's going to hit the floor. Well, the Fed has a model that says the pen's going to float to the ceiling. If you have the wrong model, you're going to get the wrong result every time. If you have the wrong model, you're going to get the wrong result every time. If you have the wrong model, you're going to get the wrong result every time. So first of all, we have observation, 15 policies in 5 years. You're totally making it up. Secondly, I have firsthand discussions with central bankers who admit to me privately, they won't say this publicly, that they are making it up. And finally, I understand the models, and I understand how the world works, and the models bear no relationship to the reality. So for all these reasons, people should have no confidence in what the Fed is doing. People should have no confidence in what the Fed is doing. So people should have no confidence in the Fed. So people should have no confidence in the Fed.
You have what degree of confidence in your ability to control this?
100%.
You have what degree of confidence in your ability to control this?
100%.
You have what degree of confidence in your ability to control this?
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%.
People should have no confidence in what the Fed is doing. They should have a lot more confidence in their own instinct and their own intuition and what they're hearing from independent advisors.